Nuria Rivera launched Novation Title Insurance Agency in 2015 and quickly won a Best of State award. Nuria considers herself a millennial entrepreneur, and her nonprofit Dreamers Foundation is proof that her heart has always been in the right place. She's a peak performer who puts her business culture first, and in this episode, she and Thor chat about just that. What does it take to create an enriching and inspiring business culture while working in an industry so historically conventional, traditional, and boring? Well, get ready to find out on Peak Performers Podcast.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know the audience is going to get so much out of today's episode. This is amazing. You won a major award from the state of Utah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we had one of our clients who nominated us for this Best of State award, and I was a little bit shocked by it because I felt like, hey, we're only into our business 9 months, so I'm sure the odds are against us, but sure, we'll apply. So we submitted the application, filled it out, didn't think anything of it. And then a few weeks later, we received this email stating, you have won in your category. And I was so shocked because of just that same reason. You know, we were 9 months into it, and it was very flattering and honorable that they would consider us, and it was super fun.
Great lesson out there for the entrepreneurs that even if you don't think you're going to win that client, that prospect, or that award, if you don't try, it ain't going to happen. So just go out there. That's awesome. What a great story.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Give us some backstory here. Here you are, you've got about 9 years of experience in the title insurance, and then you go up and you set up your own firm. And I mean, you've got an incredible organization. How'd you get so much traction so quickly?
At the time, I was with a different organization. Obviously, I was an employee, and they had a couple of sales reps that would help bring in the business as well. And so it was a very friendly farewell to where we both said, hey, all the relationships that I have built in the 9 years for myself, I'm able to continue building those relationships. And then the relationships that you guys have helped me build, those can obviously remain yours. And so because of that, and I'm very grateful for that, I was able to just launch and continue from where I had already started for 9 years. So that definitely helped bring in business right away. I didn't have to, launch and then wait for 3-4 months for revenue to start showing up. I mean, as soon as I launched, I started getting orders in the door. I had hired the right people, and then just kind of took off from there.
That's amazing that they were that nice to have you set up, because obviously now you're a competitor of theirs.
Yeah. I'm very grateful for that, for sure. And I feel like I handled it in the right way myself. It was about a 4-year period where I kept talking to my employer and stating, I have this huge fire within me. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always had that in my mind that I needed to create something in this world. And so, for about a 4-year period, I kept coming up to him and saying, hey, I have some great ideas. I have this vision of what it could be. If you ever would want to partner, would you ever consider it? And there was communication a little bit back and forth about that, but obviously it didn't end up working out. So at the time when I finally made the decision to fly, I felt like I had done everything right, and it was very authentic, and the conversations were there for years. And so I felt like it was complete.
Who's holding you accountable? Many will answer, myself. Well, that only goes so far. You'll do more for others than you'll do for yourself. If you're not getting the results that you want, need, and desire, it comes down to your accountability. If you're ready to stop dabbling and really play full out, head on over to thorconklin.com and under services, check out our real accountability system. This is not for the timid or weak of heart. This is only for those individuals that are truly committed to taking their game to the next level. Now, I actually have an insurance degree from St. John's. I was in the insurance business for almost 18 years in New York City. What separates you from another title insurance agency, and how are you winning those clients? Because the product's pretty much the product, right?
Yes. So you're exactly right. Insurance is insurance. It's not very sexy. It's not very fun. And so that's actually a big reason why I wanted to launch Novation Title, is because I felt like my industry was very much more conventional and a little bit traditional and boring, to be quite honest. And I thought there has to be something more to this than just that. So, I'm based out of Utah. In Utah, we're highly regulated. So our fees are not competitive. Everyone has pretty much the same fees. Everyone's selling the same product. And so I thought, I want to completely change this. And how I'm going to do that is I really, really want to redefine the people's experience. I have worked for different title companies. I have seen what goes on internally and externally. And as a business owner within this industry, per file, per transaction, we don't make a big amount compared to, for example, a real estate agent. Obviously they make typically 3% commission, or if you're a loan officer, you get pretty good points and pretty good income per file. Well, with title insurance companies, it's a lot lower. And so for us to be profitable, we have to bring in a big amount of volume of people through the door. And what I was noticing is that every single title company owner that I had met with or spoken to or had worked for, it was very much focused on the numbers. And let's get those high numbers in the door. Numbers, which is important. I agree. However, I felt like people were completely forgetting about the clients, the consumers, the employees, the people. And I said, how can I create something where, yes, numbers are important. However, people are coming in my doors feeling a completely different experience. How can somebody that walks in does not feel like a number? How do they make them feel like they're VIP? How do I make my employees feel like they're in a good environment? Because that was super important to me as well. Not hiring toxic people, not hiring divas. I do protect my culture 100%. That's actually my priority. And so, just being able to make those decisions and who comes on intuitively, and also, using my head and, having that intelligence. But that's been huge. We have a fun environment. We're all about growth. We read books. We're big followers of Darren Hardy. We're big followers of Tony Robbins. And I wanted it to be a place where people felt like they could spread their wings, that there was no limitations on their growth and their dreams. And then also, of course, our clients feeling that extraordinary experience. So there's lots of little things that we do that really make a big difference. And people can see it. And it's so cool to see the compound effect of it, coming to life. And people can see that, people can feel it, and therefore people are wanting to work with us.
And it started with asking great questions. I love those questions you just kind of rattled off. I think every solution starts with a great question. I want to get into your culture a little bit, because I absolutely loved the video you did. I was looking for it and I didn't have time to find it again, but it cracks me up every time I see it. And it's you around the boardroom, and you've got your team, and you're standing up, and you're dancing and singing. And literally, the camera scrolls around, and then there's a guy sitting right at the end, and he's just he's got his head in his hand, and he's like, "Oh my God, no! I can't believe this is actually going to be out in the Ethernet or the internet."
Yeah. So I love that because I had just come back from Date with Destiny. Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny, and that changed me forever. I mean, literally my life will never be the same again. And so, I was on an extreme high already anyway. And naturally, I'm very passionate and I'm very loud and I'm very lively. And so they get used to me already. I mean, I go around the office like jumping around and doing weird little dances and just being goofy because that's who I am. And so they weren't quite that surprised. But yes, I come in, we have a meeting every Wednesday morning, and I'm like, I turn up my music as loud as I could. And then I just told them I need to get in my right state of mind. And so I started, doing what we do at Tony Robbins, jumping around, and I was just dancing. And one of my employees took out his phone, and I noticed he was recording. And everyone was like, "What in the heck is going on?" And she lost it. And do you know what is the greatest though about that is I went out of town for a business conference, and one of my employees sends me this video text that shows another one of my employees doing dance moves, and she tells me on the video, "Hey, Nuria, don't worry, we're all getting on our right state of mind." And so, you have another employee like jumping and like doing her little kicks and everything. So it is highly contagious. And I love that we have that positive culture and, where people can really just be who they are.
Yeah, it all has to start with the leader. And I heard great advice a few months ago. They said, if you want your audience to kick their leg up 6 inches, you've got to kick your leg up 6 feet. And I think as leaders, we've got to go first, and we really have to go over the top. Whatever your style is, whatever your, natural being is, but whatever it is, bring 110% of it.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about culture. You seem to have an absolutely amazing culture. How did you create it? How do you sustain it? And how do you grow it?
So for that 4-year period that I mentioned before, where I was talking to my old employer about a possible partnership, I really immersed myself into learning about what it would take to be a business owner. I understood that was a completely different skill set. And so, of course, I was going to learn. And I did that through reading a lot of books. I did that through meeting with a lot of different business owners, including business owners in my industry. I created a mastermind group. I mean, I just really learned as much as I could. One of the very first books I read in this area was The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And it really connected with me in understanding that I either was going to be working in my business or I was going to be working on my business. And I chose the latter. From the beginning, I was very specific on who I was hiring on. And I had my vision, and I would just share my vision and the people that would really connect with it, as well as, other things that I implement within the interview process, as far as like the DISC test and personality styles and all of that. Just finding the right people that had that positive mindset, that were coachable, that was huge for me. And some of them that even knew things that I didn't know. Like, I did not know everything to start my business, that was for sure. And I hired an office manager who did know a lot of things about HR, accounting, things like that, and which was incredible because I didn't. And so I hired people in a way where they were aligned with our vision, our mission. They truly cared for people, and also people that knew more than me in a different area, and I was completely okay with that, and that we're definitely coachable. So with our culture, again, I'm all about growth. I'm all about empowering my employees. You will come in here and you will not see that anybody treats each other indifferent or feels like they're subordinate or above anybody. I've always taught them all, and we always talk about this, that, even from the receptionist, she is as important as my highest paid sales rep, because she is the face of anybody that walks in through our doors. So that creates really a team, and really even deeper, a family, where they really have each other's backs. Everyone here understands our mission, that we're protecting one of the most important investments in people's lives, that when they're working on a file, they're not working on a file. These are people. And we all have that purpose, and it's creating impact within our industry, and it's very noticeable. But with that, I also coach my employees, all of them. And we spend that one-on-one time together, which is one of my favorite things to do. And we set up goals, and we follow up with goals every month. And I not only want to help them in their business, but I feel like my purpose in life is to help people develop themselves and be a tool for them to reach their dreams. And so I love seeing what their dreams are and seeing how I can be of contribution for them to reach those dreams. And so I hold them accountable, and we talk about every area of life. They have dreams, they have goals for their personal life, their health. They have goals for business, economical, spiritually, everything. And I just absolutely love that part. We have our book club. So that's the type of culture we have. We're protective on who we hire. I've actually had the opportunity to hire a couple of high producing officers for my business, and I have chosen not to, because I will protect my culture, and I know that in the end, it's the very best thing for Novation.
Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter @ThorConklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.
That concludes part 1 of Peak Performers Podcast with our guest, Nuria Rivera. Be on the lookout for part 2, where we'll hear all about how every single minute of the day should count toward your success, and a whole lot more. That's the Peak Performers Podcast. We'll see you at the top.